Okay, this is my audience for my persuasive speech. My husband, Ken, my brother Nathan, and my mom, Ella, and my two littlest ones, Mikey and Ella. In 2010, I knew something was not right with my son, and so I had him tested, and come to find out he was on the spectrum, or he has autism. And so now I have an explanation for a lot of the behaviors that he was exhibiting. Autism is something that is not a visible disability. It's not something that you can really see, and so it's hard to determine whether someone has autism. And so autism is diagnosed mainly by behaviors and other general indicators. I'm a mother of a 7-year-old and 11-year-old autistic son who was diagnosed at 7. So to introduce autism's general indicators, the effects of autism on individuals and families, and what people can do to understand autism. First, what is autism and the indications in children and adults. Autism is a disorder that affects millions of individuals worldwide, and the CDC states that autism spectrum disorder, or ASD, is a group of developmental disabilities that can cause significant social, communication, and behavioral challenges. The general indicators of autism include head banging, destruction of property, combativeness towards others, and the inability to communicate. ASD occurs in all races and ethnic and socioeconomic groups, but is almost 5 times more common among boys than girls. And the CDC states that in estimations, it's 1 in 68 children are identified as being on the spectrum. Second, how does it affect individuals and their families? Well, autism affects the quality of life and the way that they relate to other people. Clinton, my son, has the autism, but he also has other diagnoses that actually compound his treatment and how he lives his life. So it makes it really hard to do things as a normal family would do. We can't always go out without Clinton going into a meltdown. A therapist that I interviewed at the Hughes Center for Exceptional Children, named Camilla McCoy, says that most families have a difficult time struggling to cope with autism. So they rely on their faith in God quite more than the normal family does. It's what keeps them together. The social aspect is basically isolation, because people with autism are in their own world. They are not with us, so to speak. My best friend, Mrs. Moore, has a 7-year-old son who was diagnosed, and he feels isolated because other children do not accept him because he's different. Not all autistics have behavior issues. Some do, some don't. They all exhibit different signs of the autism. There's many famous people who have been diagnosed or have been speculated to be autistic, such as Mozart, Thomas Jefferson, and Einstein are speculated to have had autism. I'm sure everyone's familiar with Law and Order TV show. The actor who actually plays Dr. Gorin, Vincent D'Onofrio, actually is autistic. Also Daryl Hannah and Susan Boyle, who is British. So lastly, autistic people, all they want is to be accepted. So people in their families who deal with autism have a really difficult time to in the community, because most people do not know what autism is and what it looks like. So going back to Miss McCoy, therapist from the Hughes Center, she states that the best way to learn about autism is not just through education, like websites like Autism Speaks, the American Autistic Society, National Autism Society, it's Autism Society of America, are just a few of the places where you can find information on autism. But also the best thing is pure interaction and hands-on activities with people with autism, such as the Special Olympics and walks for autism to raise money, anything like that. Even just regular sports interaction. So yes, autism is a disorder that affects millions of people, but it's not something that should be overlooked. It is so prevalent and it needs more exposure, and this is something that we can use the values that we have to bring autistic people and their families in and support them, because living with autism as an individual, but living with autism as a caregiver, is extremely difficult, and it's stressful. It's emotionally, physically, spiritually draining. And to have support and people who want to learn about autism, that's what we, with a lot of these societies who promote autism out in the community, that's all we want. We want people to be receptive. So please consider learning more about autism and how you can really reach out to that community and bring life to them through our faith and through God's love. So I want to thank you for allowing me to explain autism and to hopefully intrigue your curiosity about autism and bring it more more life to the fight for autism. Thank you.